Rafa?
Don't get it wrong. This is Void Piercer disguised as Rafa. We found mechanical parts of a machine puppet, so we had her temporarily pose as Rafa. It's more convenient.
So, have you already obtained Lana's root access? Do you really believe Rafa would commit suicide? That Lana would just disappear? When Lana said the upgrade was complete, I couldn't help but think there's something more to it.
We're well aware of these concerns. Currently, there are many urgent matters to handle. We'll have to revisit these issues once we get through today's mess.
I understand. Then, we need to talk about Kailo's future. Aglaya's consciousness has been restored, and I've confirmed with her that she's never met you. So she's not the person you're looking for.
She's awake. Where is she? Could her Starstone syndrome be cured?
She was frozen for too long. Her body is extremely weak. I'm sorry, but she can't appear for now. I appreciate your concern. I'll make sure to relay it to her. What I'm about to say represents the position of Aglaya, my aunt, and the legal heir of Apex. The Apex businesses that Anchor Infinity seized must be returned to Apex.
Ore Zero Mining, RoboCore Inc., and Voyage Innovations are all closely tied to Project Astralis. The Hope Fleet will assume full control, but it will temporarily remain under the Anchor Infinity in name only. Astral Harvest, Helix Bio Inc., Echo and others will all be handed back to Apex. I believe Helix Bio's research will help in treating Miss Aglaya.
RoboCore Inc. used to be a subsidiary of Apex, and played a crucial role in my aunt's work developing Lana. I won't just give it up like that. Also, the director Johannes has already agreed to join Apex.
RoboCore Inc. supplies Lana with the servers and controls the spaceship's navigation system, so it can't be handed over to you. Aglaya is still weak. Wait until her body recovers, and I will negotiate with her in person.
I agree. We should wait for Aglaya to recover before discussing those details. She'll have a lot of important suggestions regarding Lana. For now, let's focus on the press conference. Right now, there are 3 critical issues to address. First, we need a reasonable explanation for Rafa's exit. Second, we must confirm that Kailo will reopen the passage and establish stable communication with Ida. Lastly, we need to halt the new Project Arc that Rafa publicly announced. This is a matter of safety for the Kailians. There are too many uncertainties involved, and it shouldn't proceed in its current state.
Aren't you coveting Kailo's space rift technology anymore?
That's not the most important mission I'm here for. Once the passage reopens, I'll discuss the matter with my superior again. After all, the situation on Kailo has changed.
It seems Mr. Nanto has no objections. Then let's hold a press conference.
I am Rafa Garcia, President of Anchor Infinity. Today, I hereby officially announce that, due to health concerns, From today on, I entrust Anchor Infinity to Nanto and Veronica. My body can't hold on any longer.
You still haven't announced the negotiation results. The 3 points we just discussed.
I'm done talking.
Mr. Rafa is indeed bedridden due to his old age. As such, I will report the outcome of the negotiations on his behalf. The diplomatic representative demonstrated remarkable sincerity during the negotiations, persuading Anchor Infinity to work with IDA to establish a secure, stable, and high-speed communication channel. In the near future, Idans and Kailians will be free to travel between 2 zones. We will maintain friendly, equal relations with the interests of both peoples coming first. Due to the significant resources required for establishing this passage, we must pause the immigration applications for the new Project Ark. However, the IDA will support the construction of Kailo, backing our future efforts to explore and transform broader habitats. The diplomatic representative has promised this.
Me? Wait, I didn't say that. Oh, he's taking advantage of the chaos. Unbelievable. Wait a moment.
Please hold on. Mr. Nanto did indeed forget one thing. IDA will also fund the Hope Fleet's largest exploratory expedition, Project Australis. I believe everyone here has heard of Project Australis. After all, I've been in the news 10 times recently, and 9 of those mentions were related to it. In the past, many believed the Hope Fleet acted recklessly, and that the project was merely squandering Kailo's precious resources and energy, even ultimately being a burden on Kailo itself. But
we still have a second round of negotiations, which will cover IDA's specific funding plans for Kailo and the construction plans for the new Tower of Fantasy. A new Iden diplomatic representative delegation is about to arrive in Kailo to commence broader negotiations.
what?
Another delegation?
That concludes today's press conference. Thank you, everyone.
Nice job, Nem. If I really promised the Kailians so many resources and can't deliver, Plotty, no, Papa definitely won't let me off the hook.
At last, I get to see Kailo in person. Hello, I am Plotty, an authorizer of Hykros. Authorizer, thank you for all your hard work. I'll handle what comes next. You can rest now.
I thought Nem was only bluffing back then. I didn't expect you to actually show up. And so quickly, too.
It's all thanks to Void Piercer. After she took control of all the equipment in Kailo, she immediately restarted the space rift and told me to come assist.
That request for a second round of negotiations just now, it came from you?
Yes, the authorizer departed in too much haste and is not a professional diplomat, so they may not have fully understood their responsibilities.
You cunning Idans. You've outwitted us.
Given Kailo's situation, even if Ida is in poor shape, what we're about to do should rightly be called assistance. It's not a good place to talk. Let's head inside.
Shirley! How are you? Are you feeling okay? I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have let you go through the space rift in my place. I also shouldn't have... Trust me, I won't let anything like this happen again. I promise, I'll protect you from now on. Do you recognize her?
It was Veronica's idea.
So, was it really Plotty who told you to say those things just now?
Mm-hmm.
You would listen to her?
Want to hear what they're saying? Now that Lana's gone, this place is all mine.
You're changing the subject? Honestly, I'd like to hear it. So, go on.
Surrender the space rift technology and cooperate with us to construct the Tower of Fantasy. Those are the only demands Hykros has.
So you want us to reenact the disaster from 50 years ago? The Kailians aren't short on intelligence. We're just short on resources.
I figured that would be your biggest concern. You can rest easy. That issue has already been resolved.
Are you saying Hykros of Ida can't even build a large-scale space rift? Yet you somehow claim to have a solution to the technological problem that shattered Ida 50 years ago?
I've heard your blunt retorts. You're wrong about one thing. We've determined the disaster 50 years ago was caused by human error, not a technological problem. You're all on this space station. So you should know that 50 years ago, humanity had no choice but to launch a global retracement to deal with the temporal anomaly.
Then you failed, imposing a mass euthanasia on all of Ida. Truly, the dead are not affected by temporal anomalies.
The origin resonance failure 50 years ago was caused by humanity's insufficient preparations. Simply put, it was initiated under a state of emergency and forced into action before it was ready. But this time, our objective is to execute a perfect global retracement.
How do you achieve perfection?
Because this time, we have the perfect authorizer.
Plotty knows I'm the perfect authorizer?
Did I forget to mention? I wanted Hykros to go all out to rescue you, but Plotty wanted to keep observing the situation and your reactions. I had to emphasize how important you are.
What else did you tell her?
She threatened me, saying that if I didn't reveal everything I knew, she'd abandon the rescue mission.
You didn't really believe her threats, did you?
The one threatening me was Papa. You can't reason with a lunatic. I've run the numbers. There's a 90% chance Papa will make whatever choice she wants to, and the other 10% is because of Plotty's presence.
So, Plotty knows about it.
Yes, but she's very rational. She didn't tell anyone.
Even if everything you said was true, building the Tower of Fantasy, connecting with Ida, and ultimately allowing Kylians to return home. Kailo is not the same as Vera. At that time, there will be no Kailo.
We may have different perspectives. That's fine. There's still no evidence. Once I prove it, we can resume negotiations.
What exactly are you trying to prove?
Please, both of you, follow what was said at the press conference and make every effort to construct stable channels. Preferably using large-scale space rift technology, as we will be dispatching research personnel to conduct investigations.
What exactly are you planning to research?
As far as I know, you, as commander of the Hope Fleet, have been eager to launch major long-range expeditions. But that's difficult in Kailo. There's too much space-time turbulence. Hykros is not skilled in space rift technology, but for certain reasons, we have researched something similar to space-time turbulence, the abyss flow. If our researchers can develop a more accurate space-time turbulence detection device here, I believe it will greatly assist your navigation.
Can you really pull this off?
Absolutely. But we'd need to work closely with Kailo's researchers. Knowledge only progresses through collaboration. Moreover, to learn as much as possible about space-time turbulence, it would be best to conduct research across different corners of Kailo's space. We may also need to ask Kylie and Hykros to construct several large-scale space rifts.
We can only allow limited sharing of research results. Key research milestones must be completed independently by the researchers from Kailo.
The Space Rift Technology team currently belongs to Apex, and Apex will assign a representative to provide detailed terms of cooperation. We can discuss this further at our next negotiation. My aunt still needs me to look after her, so I must take my leave.
He went to see Aglaia. Should we go see her too?
Us? I don't think so. She doesn't know us. To her, we probably look more like enemies right now. You can tell that I'm feeling uneasy? Lana's words, upgrade complete. They scare me.
I've searched all of Kailo, but Lana has vanished completely. The only place I can't reach right now is planet Noah, because it's surrounded by space-time turbulence. She's surely hiding there. For now, we can leave everything to Plotty. We won't be able to get anywhere near planet Noah until her space-time turbulence detection system is finished.
I want to have a chat with Plotty once she comes out.
Authorizer, there's something we need to discuss in private. I'll be waiting for you in the conference room. Our first meeting was so rushed that I didn't get to properly greet you. Perfect Authorizer, I can't thank you enough for your effort.
Is that an accusation I'm detecting?
Relax. You're so tense. I couldn't resist cracking a joke. A perfect Authorizer is no trivial title. If I'd known your role earlier, I would never have sent you to Kailo. Of course, we misjudged Kailo back then. Or rather, Rafa's attitude. I'm truly sorry for all that you went through. And of course, for my lack of preparation.
Preparedness can only get you so far. I thought this place was just like Vera in Domain 9. Now, after Linsis, I think kindness might be conditional.
What makes you say that?
The Kailians seem to have the widest universe, yet they live in its most barren places. I met folks there who'd rather fill their stomachs in prison and wait to die than enjoy their freedom. The Brighton Zone's so-called upper class abandoned their morals, their hope. They drown themselves in music and booze, completely disregarding their futures. The rewards for miners are so meager, they might as well join the pirates' callous ranks. Then they're bullies or bullied, with no in-between. And if you don't want to choose either, well, then you'd have to be exceptionally talented like Linsis and Lechesis. Just to scrape by in the gaps between the various factions.
Kailo really put you through the ringer, so it seems. What of your two allies?
I can't help but think about Veronica saying she'd trade her conscience for ambition. That's just how it goes in Kailo. Then, there's Nanto. I have no doubt about his loyalty to Apex and the Todd family, especially since he spent over a decade undercover in Anchor Infinity. Maybe that's what made him so capricious. For the sake of his loyalties, he put Apex's interest above all else. In short, surviving Kailo takes constant sacrifice. Kindness and fresh fruit are the same type of luxury, and suspicion is the norm.
Desperate times break people. The cataclysm was just as catastrophic for Asperia as it was for Kailo. But it was only after the suppressors became widespread that morality and order could be restored. But Kailo has clearly restarted production and shaken off the worst of the crisis. That environment is inseparable from the forces lurking behind Kailo.
The forces behind Kailo? Did you uncover something at Hykros?
This likely isn't news to you. You just lacked the evidence to prove it, and you couldn't verify with all the chaos in Kailo. The enemy capable of uniting Hykros and the heirs of Ida, the Servant.
Did you find servants in Hykros?
What about Kailo?
It never crossed my mind. That is, until Rafa revealed himself as a servant. The Federation collapsed long after the Cataclysm. Could the servant have secretly survived until now?
I confronted you in Kailo because there are some things we can't discuss with Hykros. Now that Kailo is under Void Piercer's control, it's actually safer. There's not much evidence for servants in Hykros. Void Piercer and I have only found a few clues in Gesthos' records. But the servants in Kailo, those are easy to track down. After Void Piercer sought my help, I immediately reviewed Hykros' internal documents on the Kailo space station. It was likely part of the servants' plan as early as 50 years ago.
Plan?
The Ark space station isn't a backup plan for the Kailians, but rather for the servants. Its location was meticulously selected by the servants 50 years ago. Kailo's Hykros has always been a leader in space rift technology, and the coordinates they chose mark a very special location. The research report states that it's a fragile point of spatial overlap.
Fragile spatial overlap. Hyperspace. 50 years ago, the Origin Resonance opened the hyperspace gate. The space station's location might be a connection point between real space and hyperspace. So, the station's location wasn't chosen for survival, but to aid the servants in reopening the hyperspace gate later on. This is almost an exact reenactment of the conspiracy from 50 years ago.
Before the Cataclysm, Kailos' Hykros was overtaken by the Servant, which persuaded several prominent families and corporations to fund the space station under the pretense of refuge. But in reality, the servants were using the funds they provided to establish a spatial stronghold. The Kailo space station was not only an energy failure, but surrounded by space-time turbulence, interfering with their plans. I'm led to believe, then, that the Cataclysm was not intentional.
If that's the case, then the Ark space station's AI, Noah, was originally the Servant's AI. Lana was modified from Noah by Aglaia, who was deceived. And Lana's destined to return to the Servant. Bagus and Rafa, whether they are the same person or not, are both servants. They share a central goal: to welcome their master through Origin Resonance. This tracks with what I know about Bagus's motives. He took advantage of the viral interference in the network, and maybe even found a way to modify a dimensional quantum supercomputer. If the station was really rattled enough to disrupt their plans, then Rafa destroying the Apex and exerting Anchor Infinity's control, it must mean he's reviving that original plan.
Do you think they'll initiate the Origin Resonance?
It's highly likely. But there's still one thing I don't quite understand. To my knowledge from the network, achieving their objective would require a global origin resonance.
That's the easiest thing in Kailo.
What makes you say that?
Since this time's an emergency, I came alone. Later, Brevi will lead a research team to thoroughly investigate Kailo's space-time turbulence. Based on the information from Void Piercer, Brevi proposed a hypothesis: the entanglement theory. Kailo's space-time turbulence is the yarn, so knotted it forms a ball. So much yarn tangled that the ball became something like a thick wall, tightly enclosing Kailo in its center and forming an isolated space. In other words, this universe's conditions simulate an ideal lab environment. If we build a tower of fantasy at the right site, we could produce a global origin resonance.
So you mean Kailo's space-time turbulence actually gives the Servant an advantage? Wouldn't that mean it's deliberate?
No time for that. What we need is evidence proving that the Servants exist in Kailo and are about to initiate a dangerous origin resonance. Preliminary calculations indicate that the optimal site for Kailo's origin resonance experiment is planet Noah, but the exact coordinates can only be determined after gauging the space-time turbulence. Kailo's turbulence is unstable. Initiating origin resonance here is extremely dangerous. If we aren't careful, the Kailians will suffer the cataclysm they've been desperately trying to avoid.
If we're right, we need to stop the Servants immediately. Nem alone isn't enough. We need more help.
Those two aren't reliable allies. Veronica controls Kailos' most powerful armed forces, and Nanto has built up considerable connections among both Pirates and Anchor Infinity's executives.
Veronica's top priority is the success of Project Astralis. If Hykros is willing to support her plan, securing her cooperation shouldn't be difficult. And Nanto.
Authorizer, you're still accustomed to being a diplomatic representative. It's not just about offering polished rhetoric. It's crucial to clarify the cards you and your counterpart hold. You never truly saw Nanto's hand, which is why you were strung along by his whims. Everything you've been through, to me, was nothing more than a ploy of his to buy time. Take, for example, the Hykros aid mentioned at the press conference. That was a key point discussed during negotiations between Rafa and Hykros leadership. You forgot? I just told you.
Before I left, you said something about... what was it? Giving a large chunk of land to the Kailians?
Rafa doesn't want Hykros visiting Kailo. He initially made those unreasonable demands to stymie the negotiations. Nanto is different. He's working with Veronica. First, he opposes us, pushing us toward the Hope Fleet. Veronica's the buffer.
It's just like when I was trapped in Brighton prison. Veronica isn't easy to deal with. Negotiating with her won't be simple.
Veronica and Nanto are deliberately creating this chaos. Their delay is intended to let Apex smoothly take over all of Anchor Infinity's assets. To put it simply, urgency breeds clumsiness. Their enemies are so busy dealing with the crisis that they ignore what's right in front of them.
In other words, until Aglaia has fully recovered and smoothly taken over Apex, neither Veronica nor Nanto will engage in formal negotiations with us.
Without me, you might have assumed Nanto was toying with you at the conference. Entrapping you in this deliberate chaos, he'd ensure Kailo had the time necessary for their plans. The formal start of negotiations will only come when a stable Kailian is in place, and Nanto willingly takes enough responsibility to soothe tensions.
Lana vanishing and Nem assuming control weren't accounted for in the plan. Now they're forced to wait for Aglaia to recover and help restore Kailo's AI.
Negotiations will be far easier once we see their point of view. Then, we just need to convince them there's an enemy out there that's more dangerous than us. When they see which is more urgent, dealing with us or the servants, cooperation will follow. And once we've helped Kailo eliminate the servants, they'll trust us more, paving the way for future cooperation.
Future cooperation?
If we can clear it out, you'll have an absolutely secure base. Kailo is the only one of the Ida continents we've recovered so far where Hykros forces aren't dominant.
What exactly are you worried about?
We have more urgent matters at hand than that. I think General Veronica and I will hit it off. Leave her to me. I'll persuade her to spare at least some personnel to help us. And as for Nanto, you have some unresolved disagreements with him, so I'll leave him to you.
It was a big misunderstanding. The servant probably caused it. But simply explaining that won't make him believe me.
It may be hard to rebuild that trust, but getting him to understand that Kailo is in incredible danger, that the servant's scheme threatens everything he holds dear, is much simpler. In this matter, being the diplomatic representative will only be an obstacle. Distrust of Hykros is unlikely to change anytime soon, given the cataclysm. Our objective is to neutralize the servants hiding in Kailo. Now that I'm here, you can rely on me to make that as smooth as I can.
Thanks, Plotty. Were you waiting on me?
I overheard your conversation with Plotty. There's something we need to tell you about Aglaia, but it's complicated.
What happened?
When I was at Helix Bio, I helped Nanto detain its executives. During the interrogation, Nanto asked them about the consciousness chips. We found his line of questioning a bit strange, and he seemed really anxious. So Nem prioritized accessing Helix Bio's data, then dug through some old document shards for clues. Aglaia once hacked into Helix Bio's consciousness research lab, accessed and manipulated their data on extraction, editing, and replication, and even used their consciousness management system while it was still in development. Before Aglaia was frozen, she must have done something to her own consciousness. The specific records are irretrievable. All that remains is the final consciousness file integrated into Lana's code.
Which means...
Nanto is lying. Aglaia very likely hasn't awoken at all. He's just bluffing to buy time, because Helix Bio doesn't contain a complete Aglaia consciousness.
So, when he interrogated the executive from Helix Bio, was he suspecting they tampered with Aglaia's consciousness?
There's no other option.
Nanto has been working undercover within Anchor Infinity on Asurada's orders. From the start, his only goal has been to ensure Aglaia's safety and to protect Apex's interests. When he thought I would threaten Aglaia, making sure I was dealt with became his top priority. Whether there was a misunderstanding didn't matter to him. But the fact that Nem helped me escape proves that I can get through to him. I can help him overthrow Anchor Infinity.
So he ultimately chose to cooperate with Veronica, to work with you, and to push you to join Project Anchor.
When he last interrogated me, he took a risk cutting off Lana's surveillance, likely to assess the pros and cons of helping me. If Aglaia hasn't woken up, as Plotty analyzed, his outburst at the press conference must have been to distract me. He's always wary of every move I might make towards Aglaia.
So, what's next?
If Aglaia's consciousness has truly been merged into Lana's code, and Lana is an AI controlled by the Servant, then whether Nanto believes me or not, he has to cooperate. Mem, you're our most important card right now. I know it's a tough spot, but you'll have to stay in Rafa's body for now. Shirley and I will go talk to Nanto first. By the way, don't tell anyone for now that Aglaia might not be waking up. It'll make it easier for Nanto to trust us.
He's the suspicious type. He probably won't trust anyone but Veronica. Even if you clear up the misunderstanding, he still might not believe anything about the Servant.
We do need to clear up this misunderstanding between us. But whether he'll believe me isn't so important anymore. We just need to make him see that his true enemy is the Servant.
Even so, if you want to persuade him to cooperate, you'll need more leverage. With Lana gone, I can access Rafa's redacted Anchor Infinity files. Give me some time. I'll find enough evidence to prove the existence of the Servants to him and Veronica.
Alright. Nem. Shirley. Let's go visit Nanto first. I might have a way to persuade him.